Alright guys, welcome back. In today's video we're going to be doing a service B on the 2011 Mercedes E550. So the 2011 E550 is a W212 chassis. It is the last year of the M273 engine, which is the naturally aspirated V8 that was used from 2006 till 2011. It's a 5.3 liter. And so if you have the 4.7 liter twin turbo, this video might or might not apply to you. So in any case, so service B can mean a lot of different things depending on the mileage of your car and also what Mercedes you have. In today's service, I'm definitely going to be doing the oil change because service B does always require an oil change. I got the oil change kit from FCP Euro as usual. Came with an oil filter and I believe 8 liters, not quarts, liters of liquid moly oil, 5W40. That's the recommended oil. I also got the cabin air filter and the engine air filters as well. This is also available. It has a full kit, like a maintenance kit. With the oil change kit, you also get a copper crush washer and a new drain plug with the kit. And again, if you haven't seen my other videos, I started using FCP Euro because everything has a lifetime warranty, which means next time I do an oil change, I could actually send back these components and get the next batch for free. I just pay for shipping. Now this might not be required, but my car has 105,000 miles, so I'm gonna be changing my spark plugs as well. I'm gonna try to make this video not so detailed because it's kind of like easy things, and I already did a kind of like soup to nuts video on how to do the oil change on the CLK 320. I know it's a different engine, different body style, but like the oil filter part number is the same. The oil is the same. It just takes the CLK is a V6, takes 1 less liter. But the point is, changing the oil filters process is the same on pretty much both cars, and maybe the drain plug will be a little bit different because it's a different engine, but or the location. But in any case, we're gonna get to it, and hopefully this will help you guys out if you think about doing your own servicing on your Mercedes. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is remove these tubes and these engine covers. The air filters live inside this top one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull up on the back here, and then on the front, and this pops right off. These you're gonna pry back, and they're telescopic, so you're just gonna twist until they pop out. Same thing for the other side. And then for this one, there's a metal clip here in the back. You just push that back. It's just a wire clip. And then this just pops straight up. Okay, so we got the engine covers off. I just want to show you guys, this is the clip that holds that cover in place. And this is the air intake. So you don't want to leave that exposed. So a trick I do is I just get a rubber glove. And basically I just stretch it over the opening here so that it covers it up. So guys, one thing I forgot to mention, when removing the air filter box, look out for this tube here. That connects to the air pump for the pollution system, connects right here. Make sure that when you put this back that you plug that back in, or else you will get a check engine light, because you'll be pumping unfiltered air into the catalytic, so you don't want that. So just make sure that you don't forget to plug that in when you put the air box back on. Okay, so there's 2 air filters in the air box, one here, one here. They're both held on with 4 of these T25 screws, one at each corner basically. So we're just going to zip those out and get access to the air filters. Alright guys, so I got the two filter pods out here, and to change the filter is pretty easy. You just rip this off. You could see it doesn't look that dirty, but that's what's not getting into the engine. So we're just going to replace these and get them back into the airbox. Alright guys, time to put these back on. One quick note, these do not come out all the way. So when you zip these off, just back them out enough that they're not engaged anymore. But they do not come off, so don't try to remove them. So we're going to put these back on. And just want to hold the filter so it doesn't fall out. Actually, I got that facing the wrong way. There you go, and you're just gonna zip these four. I like to, if you're gonna use a tool like this, a power tool, just do it halfway, and then you want to torque the rest of the way with a hand tool, because it is plastic. You don't want to strip it. Okay, so we got our air boxes back on. What I usually like to do too is on this gasket here, this rubber seal, I like to put a little bit of dressing, like tire dressing, or you know, something like Armor All will do the trick, just to get the this part to engage with the plastic part without pinching or damaging this rubber piece. You could see it's like just like a little gasket. I just like to keep this as flexible, and you know, I don't want it to crack basically, so I always try to put some sort of a dressing on it just to keep it pliable, and you know, the possibilities of it cracking are not there. And you know, a dealership would never do this because they don't take the time, but since this is you doing it your own car, I figure it only takes a minute to do it. So time to change the oil. First thing we gotta do is take off these belly pans here, these shrouds, plastic shrouds. So they're held on together, it looks like 10mm bolts all the way around. So I'm gonna take those off, and then it looks like there's a secondary panel in the back, which I think we're gonna have to remove, because I bet you that's where the oil pan sits. But they kind of this panel overlaps that one, and they share some bolts, so we're gonna have to remove the front one first and then the back one. And once I get that off, I'll show you where the bolt locations are. Alright guys, so it turns out you actually only need to take out the center shroud. So there's one at the front, so this is the front of the car here. So there's another shroud that goes to the front bumper. It shares 4 common bolting points. And by the way, it's not a 10mm bolt, it's a 8mm, but it shares 4 in the front, and then you gotta get 1, 2, 3, 4 in the back, and you drop this down. So you do not need to remove the front shroud that sits here, and there's actually a third one also that you do not need to remove. So it's just the center one, and now we could get access to the drain plug. Alright, so here's the drain plug. You're gonna need a 13mm socket to get that drain plug off. I know it's hard to get a good angle on it. Hopefully it shows up in the video. We're just gonna crack that loose and get our pan underneath there, and just do the rest by hand. There you go. So we're just gonna let that drain out, and next we're gonna go up to the top of the engine, remove the filter, which will allow more oil to drop down. Alright guys, so I like to remove the drain plug first before opening up this the oil fill cap and also before removing the filter. That's because it makes less of a mess. Two reasons. This sometimes spills oil when you remove it fast, but if you drain most of the oil out of the engine first and you're not in a rush, you avoid that mess. And also the rate of the oil flow coming out into the catch pan will be slower if you keep these closed, if you're not in a rush again. So now I'm gonna pop this open because it's down to a trickle, and that will increase the oil flow. So now let's get the oil filter removed. So this is a tool that I also bought on FCP Euro. I'll put the link in the description for it. I've used it before on the CLK. It's pretty universal for all Mercedes with the external filter housing. So we're just gonna undo that. Alright, so time to change the oil filter. Just want to go through that process with you guys. Here's the kit. It comes with a filter and a bunch of O-rings. So it's one large O-ring, two medium sized, they're identical, and then there's two more, a small one and an even smaller one. So we're going to remove the old O-rings first and then install the new filter. Alright, so we're gonna twist the filter off. Now this is not threaded, but I find that twisting it is the best way to get it off. And now that we got that off, you could see there's 1, 2 O-rings. Now note that this oil filter is used on multiple Mercedes, so these gaskets are not necessarily, you're not going to use all of them. It's just you're going to use the ones appropriate for your vehicle. On the CLK, I realized that you don't need this double one that's the same size as that one, but on this one it's actually the opposite. You need both the same size, you can see there, and then just a large one up here, and that's it. You don't use the two smaller ones. So like I said, this kit is basically like a universal kit for all the Mercedes. It'll work across multiple vehicles. But so let's get these two O-rings out and then this one, and we could get the new filter back on. Alright guys, we got the filter on. We got the O-rings on. If you have one of these pick tools, it's very helpful. Make sure you don't actually prick the O-ring with it, but it's very useful to get these O-rings on and off. And on the filter, in the instructions here, the filter has these black lines. I don't know if you could kind of tell, there's one right there visible. You got to make sure the filter is inserted all the way. If you have two black lines visible, like in this diagram, that's not inserted all the way. You got to make sure that only one black line is visible. But you basically got to insert it to the point where this thicker part of the shaft is the same diameter as the inside hole on the filter, and it's basically like a friction fit. I can't get it down anymore even if I wanted to. Alright, so this is ready to get back in the car. Alright, time to put the filter back on. This gets torqued to 18 pound-feet. There you go. Okay, now we're going to put the drain plug back on. The kit came with a new drain plug, a new crush washer. Even if you don't replace your drain plug, you should definitely replace your crush washer because you don't want any leaks. So we're just gonna hand thread that on. And we are gonna torque this to 22 pound-feet. So time to fill the oil. The oil capacity for this engine is actually 8.5 liters. The kit, I think I might have said before, the kit for this car came with 8 liters, actually comes with 9. So we're just gonna fill the oil. I'm only gonna put 7.5 liters because the car is lifted, and then once I have the car on a level ground, I'll check the oil level, I'll let it run a little bit, and then I'll let it settle again, and then I'll test the oil level and top it off. Okay, now it's time to change the spark plugs. So the first thing to do is remove all the coils. They're held with 2 screws right here, and each one, obviously there's one per plug, and you're gonna use a Torx 30 to get those out. So I'm gonna remove the first one and then go through all of the other ones. So my first one fell down there, so that's going to be fun trying to fish that out. So we're going to pull this straight up. You do not need to unplug the coil, so it comes up with this boot like this. To remove the spark plug, you got to use a 5/8 socket. Make sure you use one with that rubber grommet in there. That's specialized for spark plugs. Alright, so we got the spark plugs out, and you could see by that nice gray color there on the tip that the car is burning fuel perfectly. The new spark plugs, looks like the ones on the car were still original. They're NGK. The new spark plugs I'm going to put in are Bosch. No particular reason why, it's just that's what the FCP Euro sells. These are double platinum spark plugs. I'll put the link in the description for these. They come with this sleeve because they're pre-gapped, and this prevents the gap on the spark plug from getting from changing because it gets hit inside the box or something like that. So we're gonna put these fresh plugs on there that have a nice tip on them compared to these old ones that probably have over 100,000 miles on them. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on the threads, not too much, just enough. And then also a little bit of dielectric grease on the boots so that it does a nice seal and also acts like a lubricant. Okay, so now we're ready to put the air box back on. This is the tube I told you about to make sure that you don't forget to connect the air box tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to disconnect it from the air pump right here. That just slides on, there's no clamp or anything. And I'm going to take my air box here and line it up with the air intake in the back. Lock it down, clip on the back clip. Then I'm going to connect the hose right here. Make sure you do not forget to do that. You will get a check engine light if you don't. And connect it back into the air pump here. Like I said, that's just a slip-on. It's no clamps or anything like that. Now, my ram air tubes here have seen better days. They are cracking right there. They're separating. This one is completely cracked to the point where I had to put duct tape. Here's the bad news. These parts are no longer available from Mercedes, brand new, for this particular engine. So if your only options are to buy a used one on eBay, or maybe you'll find a supplier that has old stock. But what I did instead was I ordered brand new ones. This is from a W212 C-Class, and when you compare them, they're pretty much identical, except for the this material here. This one's flexible, this one's rigid, but that's the only difference. So I ordered these, and I think you're basically gonna have able to have a new part. And you could just have a new tube from a different car, but it works. It looks brand new. So just gonna get this back on. This side as well. Then the last step, the front cover. That just presses down. So we're all set on the engine bay. Now let's do the air cabin filter. Alright guys, so the cabin air filter is located underneath the glove compartment on the passenger footwell. You're gonna have these 3 screws here, 1, 2, 3, towards the front. There are Torx 20. You're gonna remove those. Then on the footrest here, you're gonna fold this down like this, and that's just basically the footrest for the passenger. And then if you look on this panel, there's like this square right here. It's like a handle. You just pop this down. Now there is a dome light in here, or a footwell light. So you want to make sure that you don't pull that out too far. You want to unplug it. So just a little plug. And there's also a sensor over here. Sorry, the camera's so wobbly, but there's a sensor. If I could get the camera to it, right here. You're gonna twist to pop it off, and that's like a air conditioning or vent sensor. See, that's what it looks like. So you're just gonna twist that counterclockwise to get it out, and now you could remove this panel. It's a little caught over here, but you should be able to remove it. So let me put the camera down to get that out. Okay, so I got the panel out, and basically that's the plug I took out, and then the temperature sensor twists onto here. So we're gonna move that out of the way. And basically what you're left with, see that little white bracket? That is where the cabin air filter goes. So what you gotta do is you just gotta slide this to the side, and then it should drop down. Alright, so there are actually 2 spring clips on the end, so you have to slide this over, but there's also these 2 spring clips. You just pop those off. I think there's one on the other side as well. I'm gonna put my hand on here because I don't want it to go flying like the other one. It's still on there. Alright, and now this just drops down, and now we could grab our new one and just insert it the same way. There's the new one. Insert it up the same way. And then just slide that white bracket over like before. There you go. And now we just got to get those little metal retaining clips back on the ends. This forward one is easy to get to, but the one in the back might be a little tough. Okay, we can now put our shroud back on. So they're removed. Make sure you plug the temperature sensor back into its spot. And the light, plug that back in. Now, the good thing is that this panel is made out of very flexible material, so you could get a little rough with it. Put the 3 fasteners back. Okay guys, so now the last step is to reset your cluster. So what you do is you put your key into the first position. If you have a push start, you just press the button. Do not press the brake while you do this. Just press it on. Your cluster will come alive. If you don't have the message that has the mileage, switch to that toggle till you have that one. Then what you do is you're gonna press your call button and your OK button. You're gonna kind of like press this one first and then that one, and hold it at the same time. So I'm just gonna put the camera down so I can do that. Okay, after you do that, you get this message on the cluster. It says vehicle data, Dynamon test, and assist plus. So you're gonna scroll down to assist plus. You're gonna hit OK, and then it says service data, full service. You're gonna scroll to full service, and you're gonna hit OK, and then it asks you service 1, service 3, I'm sorry, 2, 3, and confirm full service. So we're gonna toggle down again using this button to confirm full service, and you're gonna hit OK. Service carried out, you're gonna toggle down to yes, and you press OK. And then here it asks you to confirm because it can't be undone, so you're just gonna toggle down one more time and then press OK to confirm. And now it says full service carried out. So we could hit the back button here, and now we could start the car. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching this video. As you saw, it's not very difficult. All you need is basic understanding and some simple hand tools, a jack, and I guess the courage or willingness to try it. Even if you don't do the whole service, maybe you could do part of it, you know, something like changing the spark plugs. It's pretty straightforward, and I'm not a mechanic, so if I could do it, I'm sure you can as well. I do apologize for some of the quality of the camera work, especially when I was doing the cabin air filter. I was filming that on my phone and the quality just wasn't there. But again, thanks again, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.